Welcome to Date Night Podcast,
a tabletop role-playing game podcast set in the homebrew world of Volyanaya.
Let's explore a whole new world together.
While we're singing, Oomoo, what you gonna do? You've gotta get us out of this mess we're going through. We're singing, Oomoo, what you gonna do? You gotta get us out of here. Oomoo, Sundays at 8 Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on the CW.
Okay.
That sold it right there.
Welcome to Date Night.
Yep. All right. So this is the Oomoo pilot. Oomoo's field trip? Oomoo's trip.
Oomoo gone wild.
Oomoo's
The magic Oomoo bus.
Oomoo's with low self-esteem. Okay. So, we ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Last time we left
Are
off.
we recording yet?
Still, we're over 20 minutes now.
Last time we left off with a battle with these swarms of little creatures with like cilia or philia.
They look
I still don't know
friendly.
which one is which.
Flagellums.
Being thunder waved out of existence after Oomoo greeted them nicely, and they didn't greet Oomoo nicely. And then,
And Kira's hanging back and Arin's up
Oh,
the
God, it
esophagus.
burns.
so they had sort of been dealing this acidic damage, particularly to Oomoo, I think, was the one who got hit the most by them. After dispatching them, there was this huge flatworm-like creature that burst out of a wave of the liquid until it towered above you, turned toward you with its eyeless awareness, and opened its slit of a mouth, just as Kira notched an arrow and let fly. So go ahead and roll your attack.
I have to roll again.
Does it look friendly?
19s from a week ago don't count anymore. They lose one for each day. So that's a 12 right now. So that's up to you if you
They
want to
lose
keep it.
one for each day. That's good.
But I rolled a 19.
Right, and it's still worth a 12.
Can you take the 12?
Yes, can I take the 12?
All right, yeah, 12 plus what?
12 plus 8.
12 plus
We're
what?
playing D&D street rules.
Plus 8?
Yes, plus
Okay.
8.
So, yeah. The arrow sails across the area between you and this worm and sticks kind of unimpressively in its side based on how big it is. Go
Has
ahead
it
and
acted yet?
Roll for damage. No, it has not.
Oh, it feels like it took a week for that arrow to get there. Must
Oh,
be the
wait.
drugs.
I'm going to re-roll because I rolled both of them and I didn't establish which one was which. I guess it didn't really matter. I should have kept the other one. 9 total.
Okay.
Plus my second attack.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I rolled a 9 again for that one. So 17.
I told you not to roll
Yeah,
20s out
that's-
of those.
7.
Okay.
They were both 4 and I was taking the other one. I wasn't looking at away.
So, the worm lets out like an awkward, garbled roar or chortle, which shakes the room back
Chortle?
and forth, and you kind of hear it just a,
It laughs?
yeah. When it gets hit, it's kind of a, and then,
Why did
I
I
also
all
Let a
laugh?
cough drop.
and then and then it looks over to your group and it actually says, "Oh, sorry. My sincerest apologies, chaps, if I've frightened you, but I assure you I mean you no harm."
He's so proper.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I think.
And the worm lowers a bit toward Kira in particularly,
I'm sorry.
and it undulates across the length of the exposed portions of its body as it does so. Some of the smaller creatures that you had just been fighting begin to form a swarm near the island of vegetation where you're standing.
Cool.
And the worm sort of turns itself toward one of those swarms and says, "No, now, there will be none of that. Shoo, scatter. These creatures are not to be digested." And he turns to your group. He says, "Sorry, mindless bunch of them, well suited to their tasks. Now, where were we?
I was
yes.
apologizing for hitting you with 2 arrows.
Oh, it's really my fault. It's my form chosen for its, let's say, ability to fit in this region, or at least be decorous for our unusual locale.
I'm really confused now.
Is Kira saying that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we are in the rumen of a creature at the current moment.
Ew.
What's a rumen?
Well, it's
like a stomach.
yes.
Is that a Tommy?
It is. It's an early tummy, if we would want to put it that way. An initial tummy, but a crucial one for this particular creature.
Do Mosen have those?
I never really thought about it.
I
would
might
think
have
they
one
might-
of
I think
those.
they would be ruminants.
Sure.
Google. Do
Dear Google.
moose have
Moose?
rumen?
Do moose?
Moose have rumen?
Is that the plural of moose? That
Are
was
you one of
invented?
those moose? Oh, well,
Yes, they do.
Oh, I have one of those.
Are we in you?
I don't know.
Oh, dear God.
no, we are not in a moose, are you called?
I'm a Mosen.
Oh, a mosen, no.
I'm Aaron.
Aaron, well, where are my manners? My name is Ingo.
Ingo.
Yes.
Like Dingo, but worse, right?
Sure, yes, I think like Dingo, but better, but to each his own. But we are not in the rumen of a Mosen at all. We are actually in the rumen of a goat, a rather important goat, a crucial goat, you might say, really.
I was one of those once.
A crucial goat.
I was a crucial goat. Made some
Interesting.
sunglasses. It was a really,
Wow.
really wild episode. You should go listen to it.
This may actually benefit us in some way. Anyway, this goat is crucial, at least, in the history of humanity on this planet. But where are my manners? I guess before I tell you too much about myself, thus cementing this form forever around your perception of me, you there, the druid, the Musin.
Hi, I'm Oomoo.
Yes. I understand you are a bit of a moose, but would you be a deer for a moment and help me transform into a more amenable form for your predilections?
What now?
Excuse me, it's this worm form. It can't handle my
Would you
usual
be a deer?
vocabulary.
I kind of like it.
I can change myself. I'm not really sure how to change you.
Oh, there's nothing really required on your part other than agreement. This is your trip, after all.
Sure.
All right. So you start searching through your repertoire of animals in your head, other forms that this creature could take, some humanoid and some animal in nature, and reach a swan. You recall a memory of when you first saw a family of them swimming in a quiet lake near the Moonglade, and the worm speaks up right when you do and says, "Oh, right there, look no further. A form more apropos you will not search out, dear friend."
Sorry. I'm still just imagining the giant tapeworm with
Right.
like,
Yeah, that's nice.
okay.
All right, and as you agree, you quickly shrink down a few feet into a deer folk with pointy antlers instead of the more rounded ones, 12 points or so, gray-brown with black tail, and the worm starts to shrink too. No transformation seemingly evident at first, but shrinking down and down, thinner and shorter, retracting toward the surface of the water until it reaches an adjacent island, and you see a little cream gold-colored swan. The bill open, as if slurping the giant worm down its relatively tiny gullet until it disappears. And the swan
Cool.
closes its bill, waddles to the edge of its little island into the liquid, and then starts paddling towards you. It hops up onto the shore and gives a honk honk kind of a noise, cocks its head sideways, and repeats the call. Honk honk! And waits expectantly.
Oomoo,
I do it back.
You couldn't have done a better form.
You honk back.
I honk back.
And it honks. Honk, honk.
All right. Well,
Okay.
great. So
I'm a friggin' deer now.
Right?
He's gonna have an identity crisis.
we have a deer and a goose now. What's a nursery rhyme?
After a moment of looking at you and seeing that you're not really understanding it, it kind of tries the call again, and it goes like, who want... and its bill opens, and its toothy tongue pops out from in its mouth and extends out to about a height of 5 feet or so off the ground, reveals its underside of the tongue to the party, where a slit, similar to that of the mouth of the worm, opens up and
No!
says, well, rather a lateral move, actually, but as Alfred E. Noman is wont to say, Poe body's perfect. In any
So
case...
it's just looking at us with its tongue sticking out of its beak.
Yes, and the tongue is talking, and the swan is just kind of standing there with its mouth open as wide as it can, and its tongue protruding out about 5 feet.
I'm going to be honest. I don't like this.
Kira's head is in her hands,
This-
and she's just.
This is much worse. This is much, much worse.
Well,
I cast minor illusion and put a bandana over the tongue.
it's okay, it's there.
Okay.
Wow. Fancy.
This is better.
A hat really does anthropomorphize us, doesn't it? Anyway,
Wait, what?
I feel it's better, at least. I can maybe get around a little bit more. I was kind of big for some of the areas in here. But anyway, I do believe that the presence of travelers here, such as yourself, proves that I was correct in my assertions that this moment is indeed central to the fate of mankind and the future we take here in terms of our direction for humanity on Earth.
Now there's a manatee?
No. Humanity, you understand?
Oh, his name's Hugh.
No. Humans, the people that inhabit our planet here, Earth. People that look not too unlike your...
Gnomish friend, I understand.
Well,
I get accused.
Just-
I'll get
Gnomish,
accused for
that's what
being
it is.
human all the time.
I was thinking more of the archer that stuck one in my ribs.
Wow.
And you look down at the swan, and now the arrow looks big on the side of its ribs, but it's still sticking out.
I'm sorry.
Here, let me get that for you.
Okay.
Pull it out.
All right. So you hear... Oh. Anyway, I do feel that... Where have you traveled from? Another time, perhaps?
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean,
We came
Don't
from
really know.
the Spore City.
well, I mean, yes, that's where we
What-
came from.
What
but,
is this? What is the Spore City?
Well, it's like you ever heard of a mushroom? I mean, you spend time in a tummy. You ever eat like mushroom pizza? You familiar with that?
I am very familiar, yes.
All right, it's like those mushrooms, except they're like sentient or whatever. I don't bloody know. I used to be a god though, so
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, very impressive.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, are you Earthlings as well as I am?
I don't think so.
Maybe?
What is the name of the sphere in which you inhabit?
Volyanaya?
Sounds not like Earth. I guess I shouldn't, assume that you would have just been from our future. It could be from elsewhere. A possibility I must explore straight away that these elsewheres do exist. Of course, after this business with the goat is over.
I'm sorry. So are you usually a worm or like
No.
what's happening
No,
here?
I am part of the humanity here on Earth, but my form would not have been so subtle to be in this place. As you may have noticed, the moment you arrived, you stood out quite a bit to my little protozoan friends who tried to digest you. I did
I
not.
thought they were my friends.
Well, perhaps the ones inside you are, but these perhaps thought of you as a little bit of a snack for the host that they inhabit.
Okie dokie.
So, what's our goal here? What we got to do? What's step 2? You're a goose now.
Yes,
So
a
step
swan,
1
actually.
doesn't matter.
Well, look at my beautiful feathers. These would not be ones that would be housed on a goose. A swan is a much more majestic creature.
All right. So they're all ducks to me, pretty much. So what's step 2?
Well, that was pretty racist, but all right.
Hey, I'm a gnome. I handle that all the time.
And you see, again, this is the tongue of this creature sticking out with its...
Just the
swans have
worst.
teeth on the bottom of their tongue. So
There's
you
a
see
bandana
all of those
over
things.
that tongue.
I'm looking everywhere except at this strange swan worm thing.
Oomo's looking through his pack trying to find some blaze orange.
Well, but my goal here, I know not why you traveled, but my goal here is to save this, what would seemingly be a rather unremarkable weather, in all ways, save for its unique situation in an experiment that may influence the course of human history as we, or I suppose I should say I, know it.
All right. So, I mean, Oomoo, what's next? You this is your trip, right?
Yeah, but I'm not really sure, what the point of it is. I'm just supposed to become friends with animals, so I'm guessing that's the goat.
Well, it's not the wiggly things.
Yes, no, it is not the wiggly things for certain. This goat is most in need of a friend at this juncture in its existence.
What's wrong with it?
Well, the nature of this situation is difficult to formulate if you don't already understand it. Though maybe as travelers here, you already know the details of the outcome. I don't know why I should assume otherwise. Otherwise, why would you have come? You must have known that this was a very important juncture in the history of my world, and you've come here to view it, no doubt.
Yes, completely intentionally.
But just for the sake of fun, why don't you tell us everything?
I would enjoy to, but I would also like to know how it all turned out before anybody intervened.
We save everything, and it goes down the path of good.
The manatee turns out to be fine.
Oh, yes, the manatee, of course.
That was a lie. Grease was just
Yeah,
kind
go
of-
ahead and roll a deception check.
Yeah.
Kira is still incredibly uncomfortable and trying to not look anywhere.
Deception. That's a 14.
17. I don't...
He seems like you know what you're talking about, if that's what you're trying to get across.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in short, I do believe the predicament has something to do with this. And he kind of casts this light out of the ruffles in his feathers that extend up into the walls around you. And it's
What's happening?
the lining of this front stomach of this goat, basically. But instead of being coated with the sorts of things you might expect a stomach to be coated with, you see all of these like eyeballs on the insides of the stomach that blink all in unison and stare down at the group of you in the middle.
I don't like that.
No, indeed. This presence is something that the goat cannot abide for long either, I'm afraid. It is imperative that this goat survives. Unfortunately, I am unsure how to aid it, aside from bulwarking its physical constitution, but it does need more. It needs some feral and uniquely caprine need met, and try as I might, despite all of my most erudite exercises in empathy, I just don't think it's possible for a man to know what it is truly like to be a goat.
Well, I know what it's like to be a goat. So, you got me.
Indeed, and I believe maybe this is why you came upon this expedition knowing that this information of being a transmutation into a goat, is this something you were able to do?
Still?
Or were you a goat in a previous life?
Well, see, here's the thing. I didn't read my spell book very good, and in it says I'm not allowed to transform into different things, or God said that. I'm not really sure at this point. It was a long time ago. Yes. I don't know if I'm allowed to turn into a goat anymore. I could rightly try.
Well, you see, understanding the rules don't allow you to break them as easily as you might have at one time in your life. That is something that we are trying to teach
like your jam.
people in this experiment. To break the rules of humanity under which they were born and the things that they thought that they knew were their limits.
All right, bloody hell, I'll try it. And I'll cast Alter Self.
Roll an Arcana check. We'll see how that goes.
19.
Is that with your bonus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'm a sexy goat with abs.
Not with the 19. But you are a goat boy now.
Like a satyr?
Like
What do you mean?
Yes.
There's a word
Kind
for
of
that.
like a fawn or a satyr.
Oh no!
It's horrible.
Oh, indeed.
Wait, is he top half goat, bottom half dude, or top half dude, bottom half goat?
No, he's like a bipedal
Unholy
goat.
Or
amalgamation.
left side dude, left side boy, right side goat.
I like the sound of that, but I was kind of thinking of just a bipedal goat man who was more goat.
You said goat boy.
Well, yeah, goat boy,
Haunt
because
my
he's a gnome.
dreams.
But that's your call, how the goat's divided up.
I like divided in half, but not hot dog style or hamburger style. I like it split down like diagonally. So like
Okay.
like this top-ish section is boy. This lower, like the assless chaps section, is
Yes.
goat.
Okay. I could see that, but it has
Well,
sort
that's
of
actually
a
quite
diagonal
fortunate.
or uneven line where
That's
one...
actually quite
yeah,
fortunate, so his tail can fit out through the hole.
Yeah. And other things that he may need to get rid of. Just goats are always pooping. It was just a poop reference.
That was my first thought too, if I'm being honest.
Right. Well,
Nobody else's.
perhaps then I should give you as much knowledge as possible so that you may be able to help in this endeavor. So I will be as forthcoming as I can with my request.
I
You
put on
see,
my sunglasses.
I feel I hold some level of responsibility for this conundrum that our friend is in. You must understand that my world is a world that has largely forgotten the things that they could do, like you have done just now. While this act
Isn't
may
that
be,
for the best?
perhaps in some cases it is. But there was a time where every king kept in his court a magician and a seer, and every general worth his salt kept his own seer and someone to hex his enemy when it was time for battle. But in my time, while a few leaders still seek the knowledge of a seer, most men call such oracles charlatans, and I dare say that a seer has not set foot in a war room in centuries. But we prepare now in my time to engage a great enemy, one with an ability to destroy mankind as we know it, and one which has used seers to find the secrets of our greatest weapons, so that they might create their own. So I have gone to aid my country.
So where does the goat come in?
We will get there, my tall... What are you?
I'm a half orc.
Yes, a half-orc. Which half? Like his bottom half is the goat.
Kira's face is in her hands yet
She
again.
just like
Wait.
glares at the swan really
Wouldn't
hard.
your vocal cords be in part of the body that's human?
No, you'd think that, but in gnomes, inside their anatomy, their vocal cords actually are right about rib area.
Okay.
This is so strange.
Yeah, because if they had the short vocal cords in their neck,
Wait, hold on. Right about
only
that
dogs
area.
would hear them.
I'm now asking specifically for disadvantage on all medicine checks for Grease Wizard from now on.
You have it.
Hey.
No, tell us more about your weird gnome anatomy.
Yes, please do. I've never met someone
No,
with
can
their
we
vocal
not?
cords
I
in
actually
their
have-
lower portion.
I actually have 7 hearts, 13 stomachs,
Roll.
Everybody roll a nature check.
no veins,
8.
and 13 and a half
No, wait,
brains.
I'm proficient.
18.
I'm proficient.
That's a 4.
Aaron, you know that's not true.
That's a 9.
11.
Kira, you're pretty sure that's not true. Oomoo, you're like, but you can roll a deception check, I suppose, to see
He
what
rolled a
comes
9.
up on the.
Well, that was for a nature check.
Oh, he rolled a 4.
Yeah, you didn't have to roll a nature check.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
It's you.
Unless, I guess that could be, you really do believe that about yourself. Okay. So it's not deception anymore.
Oh, okay, good.
He rolled a 3.
So you do really believe that. And you can't tell whether or not the swan believes that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't understand anything that's going on.
Well, you see, I didn't want our country to be at a disadvantage against this great enemy. So I
Like
wanted...
they'd have to roll twice.
Right. What?
What? What?
Don't understand. I just wanted to teach them how we could look back at our enemy. And for the first time in my nation's history, a seer, myself, was put into the war room. And the results were undeniably advantageous to our cause. The ability to see in the dark underground places where our enemy keeps their most guarded secrets. But with this same power, I tried to teach empathy, the ability to, I should say, impart an understanding with these enemies, to see through their eyes what they see, not only for their knowledge and the weapons that they are examining, but also the innermost workings of their armies and the innermost workings of the men themselves. For to truly know that man, I thought, would be to lose your ability to hate him. This hate is the driving factor behind this fear that we have of our enemy. And maybe perhaps we could conquer both of them by the use of this clairvoyance.
And so the goat.
Maybe the goat is their enemy.
The goat. We're getting there, you see. The vision of being able to understand what is happening has something to do with these. And he points up at the eyes. I did find, however, that war rooms have never valued hugs or rainbows or peace. So instead,
Shocking.
they've taken my protocols and they've bastardized their purposes to imbue not empathy for a creature, but rather a close and blistering hatred. This intention can be used to see and to heal, and I'm afraid it can also be used to kill. And that is always what the generals of the world have valued over everything else. But even if they had a magician in their court in those times, a magician with such power, they had never institutionalized it, never felt it themselves, never outfitted the rank and file of their armies with it. But we are at a juncture where the face of our caprine friend here is tied inexorably to the fate of the world. For our friend, that we now inhabit, is part of an experiment designed to prove unequivocally the power of directed hate. And now, in this moment, a particularly gifted psychic has all of his will bent against the life of this creature, and it is taking its toll.
Okay, but what did the goat do to him?
The goat has done nothing. The goat is the subject of this experiment, to see if this directed hatred from one creature to another can be enough to cause the death of such a creature.
Okay, but like how are they generating this much hate for the goat?
This man, who is one of the ones I trained here in this program, has an extremely powerful psychic gift. But it is not a gift that is unknown by other men, but rarely unlocked, because they believe those things are not possible. If this man proves that those things are indeed possible, and this goat dies, well, I believe that will unlock in mankind the ability to use their pure hatred against their brothers to their demise.
But I'm
Is
asking.
this men who stare at goats?
No comment.
This is men who stare at goats.
But like, did they make like racist propaganda of the goat, or like I'm not following.
No, the protocols are much more, I should say, white bread than that. Do you know this expression?
No.
What?
White bread. Vanilla.
Oh,
They are.
you make vanilla bread here.
I mostly eat
No,
the mushrooms.
Never mind. The protocols of the experiment had no such ways of demonizing said goat. They merely requested that somebody focused all of their intentions upon the goat, all of the hatred that they held for the other, things within society, people they have met in their lives, old grudges that they have contained, and direct that energy instead of at many creatures in sort of a scattershot fashion,
So
directing it like an energy beam against one, particularly here, this goat.
So it's not hatred for the goat, it's hatred for that guy who took his socks and shoes off on the flight, and like the dude who cut in front of you in line.
Yes, this is the hatred that I speak of.
Oh,
Gotcha.
I got an idea. Let's direct our hatred for Dern back at that guy.
I don't hate him. I'm sad.
I was just teasing. It's
I'm
easier to
not
make.
mad, I'm disappointed.
It's easier to make jokes about the things that hurt you.
I don't believe that hatred will be able to quench this hatred. You understand, sometimes you do fight fire with fire, but more often water is required. I believe we need to show rather love for this goat to counteract this hatred.
Love
If you
his goat.
insist, and I kiss
I
the
kneel
goat
down
tummy.
Okay,
and
you
I
walk
pet the
over.
stomach.
Okay, so
Good
Kira,
job.
Kira and the grease wizard kind of trot through some of the liquid between these fermenting piles of vegetation that you were standing on. Go over to the lining of this stomach where you notice there are still just eyes blinking back at you. And Kira,
No, I was going by my feet and just like,
okay,
there.
the vegetation.
No, I'm going to the eyes.
I guess.
So Kira pets the vegetation.
Good goat.
And the grease wizard goes up to the eyes.
And pokes them.
The goat was
I'll cast message as well.
All right.
And speak. I love you. I'm a goat man too. Well, a goat boy, but I'm a goat boy. I'm inside you, and I love you.
Okay, roll a...
You are so weird.
Where's the skill list? Roll an animal handling check.
Turnip. 9.
Okay. You just hear the tummy rumble a little bit.
Oh, good boy. Good boy.
oh my.
You think I should get advantage on that since I'm a goat and I know where
Since you're
I
a
know
goat
where
boy
my
and you're
first
inside him and you love him.
I know what my first tummy would really like.
Probably not.
All right, I pull out a sausage. It's a little moldy,
Okay.
and I toss
You
it into the
don't still
stomach.
have sausage.
Okay.
You don't still have sausage.
You just toss it into the pile of vegetation.
No,
One
into
of
the like digestion area.
Okay, like where
That's-
the juices are.
Yeah.
All right, you see some of those little protozoa creatures come up and start like gnawing on it.
I just want
Aw.
to say this is very like Madeline Lingle, like
Yeah.
a wind in the door, like
All right. Well, that worked. You ready to go home?
I don't believe that will suffice.
Oh. Right.
I turn towards Oomoo and I'm like, what do we have to do to get out of here?
pretty sure we should be listening to the tapeworm /
Swanton?
swan person and show love. I'm not really sure how to do that myself. I'm thinking.
So what do you suggest we do then? Swan?
Well, this experiment is occurring in earnest at this current moment, and it will conclude within the next few hours. So our time here is critical. I cannot understate the fact that I believe that if men in my world were to wield this power en masse, the power that causes discordance in the very molecules of a creature, in the very bones of our planet, in the very fabric of what keeps our universe from unraveling, well, the Holocaust that would perpetrate will be something from which we may never recover. This goat must endure, but its mind suffers from grave psychic assault, tearing on its very identity. And its heart, well, its heart has suffered an injurious schism. I am taxed myself to the extreme to fight against the ulcers and damage that the damage that has been done. It's such a taxing time that has been done to the guts of this poor creature in its anxious state. I believe I should remain here for at least a while to bolster its intestinal fortitude, from which it draws the center of its physical strength. But I believe its mind must also be cleared, and the damage to its heart must be repaired.
All right, so let's jump in a vein, right? Ride that little body all the way up to the heart, beat around a couple times, then go ahead and ride it up to the brain and clear it all out. What you think?
Oomoo, this is your quest. Like, I feel like you should make the call here.
I do believe that the failure of its heart is more imminent than that of its mind, for the mind has more coping mechanisms than does a tender heart like that of a goat.
That sounds like a good idea. How do we get to veins from the stomach?
Oh, excuse me. This was a representation, and he waves his wing a little bit, and the eyes on the side of the stomach lining go away.
Oh.
Cool.
You would go through the side of the lining here. You could probably find access to such a vein.
Ew.
This is all just very gross.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll a perception check, see if I see any veins. I probably do not. These dice don't like me very much. It's a 7.
You're not touching
Oh wait,
mine.
no. This would be investigation. I would expect.
Yeah, this could be investigation.
That would be 13.
Mine's still a 4.
Okay. It's kind of hard to see. It's pretty dark, and I mean, we're sort of scaling, obviously, your vision, even though you're inside of a goat. It's more than the equivalent of sort of 60 feet away to, some of the sections of the line, and you can see what you're standing near, but you don't see anything that you think you could slip through or anything like that.
I realize that I can't see anything, so I pull out Fresnel,
Okay.
our wondrous item buddy.
Yeah, so Fresnel comes out of your bag, you kind of tap him on the head, and he sprouts his little arms and legs, and he starts wandering around you, shining light around the room, kind of trying to get his bearings until you focus him anywhere. And as he does that, you do see a couple places, not too far from where the main group is standing, that is actually spurting in something from the sides into this stomach or rumen.
I go taste it.
What?
Why? Why'd you go straight there?
Roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
I'm a wizard. I've been dealing with all the humors. I'll
That's
know
true.
'em by taste only.
That's nasty.
That's a 19 plus.
Okay.
3.
So for a Constitution save, that's fair. You're going to take half damage. You
Oh.
take 2 acid damage, and roll a
Acid seems appropriate.
either nature or arcana check based on your knowledge of humors.
18 plus 8.
Okay, bile. This is some sort of bile.
This is bile.
Why did you put it in your mouth?
I know the taste of blood.
You're very strange.
That's what they tell me.
I do think you may need to ride the veins, or I should say the arteries, from the heart to the brain, but I may be able to actually get you to the heart. I have a little bit of power left that may get you there, if you would prefer, or I can save it for later. I hope to finish the task I have here in the stomach and the intestines, and maybe give you a hand with your task in the brain. So that will be your call. I have been in here.
Well,
I don't know
Well,
how
we
time
don't
has
want to
passed.
use too much of your power. Can you just point us in the right direction?
I believe I saw some veins as I traversed around here through some of the levels of tissue, but it may require you swim under some of this liquid and through that tissue to find one.
I'm
Must
not
be.
a huge fan of that idea.
No, me neither.
Wake me up. I'm ready to wake up.
I punch Aaron in the arm.
Orange just shouting on the side of the room.
Furiously pinching yourself over and over
You
again.
see one of those little like protozoa creatures come over and kind of just look up at you.
I swatted out of the sky.
Okay.
Not sky. Out of the air.
Okay. So you just kind of swat at it and knock it back into the water.
Yes.
Okay. So, what'll it be?
I don't want to swim in that stuff.
Do we have to swim in it? Wait, are we really here? Because I thought he said that our bodies would stay, but our minds would go. If we're not really here, then maybe I can handle it okay.
Would Oomoo even have an answer to that question?
Yeah, roll a
Please roll well. Roll
just
high.
roll a wisdom check.
Hey, I'm a druid. Yes, that's a 20.
Yeah. You've traveled this way before, and you know that, people have been in the same room with you and told you what your body was doing at the particular time. So you don't have any inclination that this is your true body here in this place. It's just some projection of your spirit or something.
But if you die in the game, do you die in real life?
You've never died in the game.
Okay.
So you don't know
You
that
don't know.
for sure.
I hope
But
I
I
don't
will
die.
say if anybody dies in tonight's session, you do die in real life.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to die.
We're not going to die. I'm not dying in a goat's stomach, period.
Well, perhaps it's hot.
No. Who asked you?
Sorry.
I mean, personally, I think it's better for him to save his power to use later. Just get a little sticky. That's fine. I'm usually a little sticky.
And acid damage
Wow.
or bile damage.
Well, it's only 2 points.
Yeah, when you put a little tip of it on your tongue, not when you submerged yourself completely in it.
I don't know.
Oomoo says, let's just have him teleport us. Who else? Anybody?
I can deal with teleportation.
I'm just along for the ride.
All right, Oomoo. Teleport it is.
Why don't you send us there?
I will see you on the other side.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Date Night Podcast with me, Amy. If you like the show, we can really use your help to spread the word. Share the show with a friend or a family member who you think might enjoy the story. You can also help by following us on social media like Facebook and Twitter at Date Night Podcast and sharing our posts from there. That's also the best way to follow our giveaways and announcements about the show. Now, back to the action.
I will see you on the other side then. And
I don't like the sound of
all
that.
of a sudden, there's no basically sensation of moving or anything. You just teleport into not what you would expect, having just been in a very physical stomach, right? In this particular,
thank God.
In this particular case, you're in more of like an absence, like a nothingness. There's not any like open air that you're falling through, but instead like a space of non-physical representations. Like you're on a canvas, and it's a canvas that hasn't been affected by anything that you're used to. Things like
for Hobgoblin Ross.
right. No, it's even blanker than Hobgoblin Ross's canvases. This is one that isn't affected by things like gravity or matter, a place that doesn't have light, but it also sort of doesn't contain darkness either. It's this kind of deprivation of your senses that washes over you until slowly the things like senses and physics, or at least the faintest whispers of their edges, creep back in knowledge of yourself, gained by subtle unconscious measurements of your relation to those edges, the edges of those things like physics, until you are present enough to feel connections to the material. They're not solid or permanent like you're used to, but they are familiar. They're kind of like the connections that you make when you're in a dream, or those that you experience when practicing your religion, Oomoo, or even feelings that you may have had in any romantic experiences that transcribe with words, because they're sort of created inside the edges that usually box us in. And this canvas doesn't have those edges. Between the four of you is a faintly glowing group of shapes, pieces of what looked like an abstract representation of a heart, a drawing of a heart. But it's separated by this non-material distance that's sort of around you. It's split up into four segments. It's easy enough to see that the four of them should be able to fit together. It's all the pieces are there, but they are just sort of apart and drifting.
Kira walks up to them and tries to push them together.
Okay. As you put pressure on them, instead of the section actually moving, the edges bend like you're pushing on kind of the side of a rubber band. So sort of as you try to push them, they just lose their shape a little bit. And as you take your hands back off of them, they sort of spring back out to their original shapes. And when you do, you hear like a discordant sounding tone as the shapes undulate out of form briefly in sort of a random waving motion, and then a harmonious set of tones plays, and they form back into their respective shapes.
Cure wounds?
Okay. Just a little bit of energy into the heart. And as you touch it, and you put that energy in, it runs around the circle of the band and back into your own hand and heals you for however much you roll.
7.
Okay. So you heal for 7. And then you hear a kind of colorless voice ripple through the room, and it just says, "Begin."
All right.
And about a moment after that, there's a confetti-like stream of tapestries that flutter into existence all around you. They fall seemingly from the sky, but also from below, until they make a sphere around you completely. It's about, if we can try to judge the distance, about 100 feet away from the central shapes. So that's it's like a 50-foot radius. And each tapestry depicts a goat in various situations, and each is shaped like one or the other of the 4 shapes that float in front of you. A bunch of tapestries here, pieced together like a jigsaw puzzle, a 3D one, to make a sphere around you with the images facing in, and all the pieces only have 4 different potential shapes, and those shapes each match one of the 4 unique shapes of the heart pieces.
Are we supposed to rearrange them somehow?
Okay, where am I?
Where are you?
Yeah, no, that's what I say.
Okay.
And if you guys bothered to look around, you would see that when we reformed out of this void, Aaron is gone.
All right, who's there?
Talking?
And so
Who are you?
you guys didn't notice because you were busy playing with the heart. But when you finally look back at the group, you realize that Arn is not there anymore, and there is a tall, roughly the same size, dragonborn woman standing where Arn was a minute ago.
Cool.
Who are you?
Hi, Kira. I wasn't expecting to run into you like this. This is really embarrassing. I'm Amma.
Kira's just a gape.
Huh?
We've met before, Greasy. I mean, come on. You really don't remember me at all?
But no.
Where's Aaron?
I'm Arin.
No,
Thought
you're
you were
not.
Amma.
Well, I'm Amma now, but most of the time I'm Arin.
Do you know how to play this game?
Will almost spewed over everything.
I thought I had an easy opportunity to take a drink during this. Apparently not.
Just assume no one was going to say
And,
anything funny.
Are you referring to the?
I think he's referring to
The
The
the.
heart
heart,
thing?
the heart
Okay.
Simon Says we got going on over here.
Point.
Bing bong.
I'm just waiting for one of them to flash blue.
Yes, in all my infinite wisdom, I know everything.
Green. It's gonna be green.
All right.
So you do know how to play this game.
Of course, I am all knowing. No, I'm level 5. What are you talking about?
What's a level?
All right. So I take it
Well.
you are one of the
Mm-hmm.
pieces
Mm-hmm.
that
Are you red or blue?
make up
Don't worry about it.
that make up Aaron, right?
Yep.
All right. I used to be able to do that too, right?
I mean, yes.
And then I
kind
killed
of.
him, right?
I don't know.
Oh. So which side are you? Are you, the one that's here or the cool one?
I don't understand. I don't understand the question.
Are you the guard one or are you the other one?
I guess I would be the other one.
Oh. All right. Well, let's solve this game then.
Is Aaron the god one? Ooh.
No, Aaron isn't the god. Aaron. Oh, Oomoo, you weren't there for that whole
Ooh, was very
conversation.
confused.
Okay, so long story short,
Too late.
Aaron is, and Greasy used to be a combination of two different spirits from different ethereal planes, and so Aaron, if you think about it, Aaron is purple, and I guess you could say I'm blue, and there's also red, but red
Okay,
is kind of
okay.
under the surface right
You
now.
have to understand, Oomoo's done a lot of drugs.
So this makes perfect sense to him.
So I'm on board, little
So
buddy.
I think I got
No,
it.
I get it. Like, I have an intelligence of 10. Like, I get it, but
All right. Well, nice to meet you. I guess.
I
We've
mean,
already
we've
met.
met, but
What was I like over there? Right? What was I like?
I don't remember if I've met you, like, not in this plane
I'm not
before or
normally a
not.
deer, by the way.
Good
Because
to know.
Greasy, his part was from Elysium.
Oh,
and
right.
What's Alma?
Yeah.
It was from the Feywild.
Oh. Well, she's just saying she knows me, so
I mean, I do know, like, I do know
I mean,
you've been traveling together for, like, months.
I suppose. All right. Well, nice to meet you.
I think we need to finish this puzzle because I think I'm stuck like this until we get out of here, and I'd really like to go back to being Aaron. So let's buckle down.
Oomoo tries mending
On the heart?
on the heart.
All right. As you reach forward to touch it, you're reaching down to cast, and the smallest portion of the heart, which is basically the bottom tip that's kind of cut off from the rest, glows with a green pulsating outline. And you hear the voice say, 1, Philia.
Philia?
I don't know. Is that someone from your world? Arma? Phil?
Okay, you guys got to stop assuming I know everything. Just assume I'm stupid like Aaron, okay?
Oh, all right. That'll be easy. All right, so...
Hey.
I don't think Aaron's stupid.
Oh, you haven't been with her that much.
Does anybody know what Philia means?
I do.
Wait, maybe we should be writing this down.
I am.
Nope, I do not.
Oomoo looks around for the word Philia on any of the paintings, I
Okay.
guess.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
4!
That's good enough to know that there's no... It doesn't look like there's any words on any of the tapestries. This is like a picture book more than more than one of those ones with the words in it.
Oomoo looks for the artistic representation of the word Philia. Perhaps a picture of Philadelphia. 11.
The word, like, I guess that would be maybe history, but the word doesn't ring any bells for you.
Oomoo looks for bells.
Grease Wizard has
I
a
pull
bunch
out
of them
all
in
of
his
my
pants.
bells.
So you just see, I'll sort of re-describe it, the 4 heart pieces in the middle, one of which is currently glowing green, which is basically shaped like a triangle because it's the bottom tip of the heart that's cut off. Not large at all. Then you've got the tapestries that form the sphere around you about 100 feet away. Everybody roll one more investigation check real quick.
Even better.
22.
3.
22.
3.
19.
22.
Kira and Greasy, you think maybe they were 100 feet away, but maybe they've inched ever so just a little bit closer toward you.
All
So
right, this is
basically, if we
timed.
don't figure this out, we're going to die.
By painting.
You don't know.
All right, this is timed, everyone. It's timed. All right, well,
Don't take out the hourglasses. No.
so,
Oh, no.
oh.
Is there another...
I touch a different heart piece.
As you touch one of the other heart pieces, nothing happens.
I touch the green heart piece.
1. Philia. Begin.
Philia.
I'll kiss
nothing.
the other hot piece. I've kissed one of them. Show it lots of love.
None of the... You've tried to touch them or mend them or kiss them. None of the other heart pieces seem to react other than their shapes.
So each painting has...
undulate.
Each painting has one of these heart pieces in them.
No, each painting is shaped,
Shaped.
like one of the 4 heart pieces, and they're stuck together like that jigsaw kind of a puzzle. There's some...
The paintings are stuck together?
Yeah, because they're around you in that sphere.
Okay.
There is
Do
a
they
little bit of
look-
white space between some of them to fill in some of the gaps that are all different kinds of shapes, but each one of the tapestries is shaped like one of the 4 pieces of the heart.
Do they look like they're telling a story out of order, maybe?
It definitely looks like there's scenes on each one of these tapestries that depict the goat at maybe different points throughout its life. Like you can see some things that are the goat when it's younger or older or anything like that.
Oomoo shouts the word Philia at the triangular-shaped tapestry.
Okay.
Philia!
So there's actually 5 different tapestries that are shaped like the bottom of the... No, 5. I don't know. Those are 2 live long and prospers and a thumb.
I'm a Mosin. I've only
you're
got...
Mosin hands.
I have hook hands.
Okay.
No, he's a deer
1,
right now.
2,
Oh, yeah.
3,
I guess
4,
you still are
5.
kind of a deer
I
right
still
now.
have cloven hooves.
Aw,
You're
dear.
a deer.
You're such a deer.
Or a deer
Hold on,
folk.
there's the timer going.
That's true. So the 5 different
Oh,
tapestries
dear, I forgot.
that are shaped like the triangle, the smallest ones. 1 has a goat eating grass in a large, pleasant field of rolling hills with other goats around it.
Meh.
1 has the goat with its head stuck through a white wood fence as it rests on its knees, panting heavily.
Hey.
And another one, the goat is curled up on a bed of fresh straw, taking a nap. In the fourth, the goat is jumping playfully with another goat. And in the fifth, the goat is butting heads with a rival.
The one with the green grass. I shout Philia at the one with the green grass.
As you shout at the tapestries, nothing seems to happen.
I go touch the one where he's having fun with his goat friend.
Okay. As you touch it, you see that the tapestries look like they can peel off of the white surface
I rip it off.
underneath them. Okay. You rip it off.
The sky's darkened.
that
Cthulhu has
section-
been reaping. No.
And the tapestries shrink just a little bit to take up some of that space of the piece that you took off.
And now you're just
Yeah.
holding it. What do you
I'll
do
go
with
put
it?
it on the heart.
All right. So you go and put it in like it would fit in terms of putting it into that shape.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And as you do, which one was this?
The bottom,
Goat
the
friend.
triangle, the goat
Goat
friend.
Number 4.
The one where they're playing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take it, you put it down into the triangle section of the heart, and the heart comes back to you and says, or the voice comes back and says, Philia,
Yes.
good. And you watch
High 3.
the image inside the triangle shimmers like a pool and liquefies, and as it does, it fills up the shape so that when you push against the side, it's firm now instead of pushing in like a rubber band.
I poke at another
This
section of
goat
heart.
has a rich emotional life.
So yeah, as you poke at another section, you can see that the rubber bands are still pliable.
You touch it.
I touched another heart piece.
Pliable like a rubber band.
I touched the Philia piece that we just fixed.
That one does not move, like it's sturdy now and rigid.
Simon says,
Next you see the
dun,
top
dun.
right arch of the heart starts to glow green, and the voice says, "2, Storge, begin."
Store J?
Mm-hmm.
How do
I
you
shout-
spell that?
I shout at that heart piece.
You
George.
don't, well, you wouldn't, this isn't a word you recognize.
For our notes, how do you spell that?
However you want. Phonetically is how you
I
I
look-
just want to say that they said that Oomoo and Greasy did a high five, except Greasy is half goat right now, and the mental image of their cloven hooves smacking against each other.
Yeah, are your
is
hands
very bad.
What are
One
your hands?
is.
One is goatee?
Yeah, it's like
okay,
from the shoulder to
gotcha.
the.
Okay, on a
Waist.
timer.
Yeah.
Is this relevant information?
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
It's my goal to make sure you keep talking
So
about that stuff.
Oomoo
Oh.
turns around, looks for the tapestries that have the same
Yeah.
shape, and shouts Storge at it.
Okay.
Store
And then I
J.
look at
You
them.
do. Shouting at them doesn't seem to have an effect.
Okay.
Investigation
okay.
21.
Well, there are 4 with this shape, so I can tell you with that investigation check what they depict. One is a goat standing next to another goat, and that goat that it's standing next to is on its back with its legs sticking straight up in the air.
Oh, so it's a fainting goat.
The second one, if you're optimistic, the
Yeah,
second
that's what
one,
I figured.
No.
the goat is younger, and it's nursing from its mother as the mother is affectionately nuzzling it.
Aww.
And the third one, the goat is gazing at a reflection of itself in a freshly filled drinking bucket. In the fourth, the goat is standing in a field with a dozen other goats that is alive with the colors of wildflowers.
Oomoo runs towards the one with the mother goat.
Mother goat? Okay.
Ma.
As you get there, you can see you can peel it off the white section, and it looks like you're making the motion to peel it.
Oomoo runs back and throws it on the appropriate
Okay.
heart piece.
The
Is it
the sphere
sticky on the back?
sphinx just a little bit more.
The sphere sphinx.
No, they're not
So
really
it's not like a
sticky. Like you
sticker?
couldn't put it back up.
Oh.
Like it's threaded in, but with very fine connections in terms of those
What
threads.
happened when I did the thing?
So you take the thing, you put it into the top right arch that's glowing green, and you hear the voice come back and say, "Storge, good."
Yay!
And the same sort of thing happens where the picture turns into a liquefied form, shimmers for just a moment, and then almost solidifies enough to stop the edges from moving again.
I don't understand.
Oomoo shouts Philia Storage at the remaining pieces.
Okay.
1 turns green. Now, timer,
Yeah,
go.
so the next one
Touching.
turns green. The third one is the left arch of the heart, which is similar to the right side in shape, but, the reverse. And as you
Strange words.
want to look at the
I want to hear the word.
tapestries. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, what word?
The voice says, 3, agape, begin.
Aww.
All right.
And we turn
Are
around and we
these
look
all
at
Greek words?
Oomoo looks for the
19.
Your
agave
characters with no
shaped one.
Greek. Huh?
Oomoo looks for the agave shaped one.
All right.
not agave, agape.
Roll investigation checks if you're looking. See how fast you can find those.
Off right in.
It's hard to tell which ones are shaped right with a 6.
I got a 19.
All right, Greasy. With
10.
19, you find 3 shaped like the left arch.
Okay.
In one, the goat is depicted in a pen adjacent to a pen with another goat and seems to be nudging an uneaten ear of corn under the fence. The second one, the goat is depicted reaching out a hoof toward a lady goat while his tongue lolls out of his mouth
I'm
and
sorry,
his
what?
eyes grow cartoonishly large.
I'm sorry, what?
I think
The third one, the goat is scratching its back on the side of a fence post with a very satisfied look on its face.
All right. I pull off the one of the cartoon and I put it in my pack. I pull off the other one.
I'm gonna
the
save
last-
this for
Shrinks
later.
a little bit.
I pull off the one that has him scratching his back.
Okay.
I would have gone with
No,
the corn one.
go with
The corn. Here, I'll
First
touch
off, you-
my corn smart pin
Okay.
and I'll say, "Hey, Crinkle, should I choose corn?"
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a hole or something, like really far away.
Yeah, I'm talking to you from some spirit trip dream something.
Gotcha.
We're on a timer.
I'm on board.
All
What's
right,
up?
So, should I choose corn? It's half eaten.
Always choose corn.
Even half eaten corn.
Eaten by what?
Goats.
Ooh. What's your other option?
A goat scratching his back.
Oh boy. I always like to take care of a good itch, but
What was the one you put in your pack?
sometimes corn takes a
Cartoon.
he was reaching towards a female
Sexy lady
goat,
goat.
and his eyes were all goo goo gaga. I think that one was the one we should have picked.
No, I think it's the corn one.
Of course, you would
All right,
think it's
Crinkle.
the corn one.
I don't really have any context.
What kind of?
I would always pick
Agape is
wait.
like true love.
Okay.
What are your friends saying?
They're talking about. I stole this other poster. It's got this goat. It's hilarious. It's got a cartoon of a goat, and he's got these big cartoon eyes and
yeah?
a little girl goat. So I'm gonna put this up
We're on a timer.
at home when I get home.
Gotcha.
But do you think that one's it?
Oh boy, I gotta tell you,
Corn.
I'm not very confident in my reply. No, you can't look up Greek words.
Oh.
Your characters don't know Greek words. If you don't know them, your characters don't know them.
Okay.
Because they're not from a planet with Greek.
Fair enough.
All right.
Although to be fair, Oomoo
I
said
didn't look
corn
it up, and I
before.
stand
yeah.
by corn.
All right. I'm not very confident, but I like corn.
All right, fine. I'll take the corn. Thank you.
Okay.
Mwah. Love you.
Bye-bye. You hang up first.
No, you hang up first.
You first.
Timer.
First.
Timer.
Oh, right. Okay, bye. Like, rip the corn one off and
Yeah.
put it in.
All right. You bring it over. You set it inside the pool, and you hear the voice say, "Agape, good." And you see it turn into a pool of liquid shimmer. Depict the image for a second as it turns into a more solidified form.
I understand what we're doing now.
Philia
And
Storage Agape.
the fourth, the fourth piece is a middle.
How close are the walls at this point?
It's kind of squarish. The walls are probably about halfway in.
Oh,
We're doing really good.
Yeah, a little bit more than half.
Oh.
Maybe 60% in. So you hear the voice say, 4, Eros, begin. And
I know what that one means.
Which one has arrows?
Kira doesn't.
Look for the picture
I
of
know
arrows.
what that one means.
Oh, that's a 10.
Oh, it was a 20 for a split second.
Oomoo looks for arrows.
Wait, what kind of check is this?
investigation.
17.
Oomoo, you're staring at some of the white sections, and because the fabric is kind of wrinkled, it looks like arrows.
I found it.
So you're trying to pull part of the white section off, and it's not budging.
Okay, so since I rolled a 17, does Amma...
Yeah, I think Amma's going to be the one to see these.
I almost did, and then I didn't.
You didn't.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter then.
So there's some square-shaped pieces.
How many?
3. In one, the goat is eating out of the hand of its master. In another, the goat is drinking from a quiet stream while other goats rest in its shallows. And in another, a younger depiction, it seems, of this goat is mounting a doe during a thunderstorm.
It's what? It's mounting.
The second one.
The goat is drinking from the quiet stream.
I pulled the third one down and put it in my
No, that's the answer. I think we.
You've got it, and it shrinks just
You know
a little
what?
bit.
I'd I literally don't want to touch this line of greasy. Come put this in the middle piece.
All right, sure.
Which one?
Which one?
The goat sex
The
one.
goat sex one.
No,
I
I
still
want that
think
one
it's
from
the
my
second one.
house.
Well,
That's the answer.
Alma would have saw it first with the investigation check, so
Oh, fine.
she might have showed it to you, and you start to put it in your pocket, which is fine.
I look at him firmly and say no. No.
Fine.
Timer.
I'll just draw it
Timer,
out
timer,
later.
timer, timer,
Fine,
timer,
I'll put
timer,
it in,
timer.
I'll put it in. Just put it in.
All
I
right.
put it in.
So,
I hit him very hard.
all right, as you put
Does
it
it
in,
get hard?
give it a minute. All right, so you put it into the middle of the heart, and just wait for a second, and then you hear Eros. Good. And you see it transform into liquid again, ripple until the image fades, and then it kind of creates a solid point in the heart. So after you do that, the heart pieces themselves, instead of glowing individually around each section of the heart, glow with the same green glow around the entirety of the heart. And they start forcing themselves back together. The tapestries that are around you start expanding back outward and flutter again back to wherever they came from. And as they do, and the heart kind of reattaches itself to all of the pieces, it stops having kind of this abstract representation, and you see it sort of stitching itself back together with like pieces of flesh, and you can see veins starting to coalesce inside it.
That's not creepy at
as
all.
it does, it expands until it's starting to create this cavity or chamber around you. In terms of the heart, and in basically about a second, it's around you, and you are now inside of a pumping live heart.
Is it hard to like keep our balance?
Yeah, I mean, you're not standing anymore as you get inside the heart. It's full of blood, and it's pushing it through. You feel yourselves get pushed through a couple of valves, like that you have to almost squeeze through to get through, and then you get ejected kind of out of the top of this thing, and you can feel yourself on like a reverse water slide. We hope you've enjoyed our date night together. Remember, you can really help us out by subscribing, rating, and reviewing on whatever platform you use to listen to us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.